The silent genocide the world has ignored. In Ethiopia, there has been an ongoing massacre of civilians since the advent of the ethnic-based federalism in 1991. There are countless people of different linguistic origins that suffered while implementing this obsolete form of federalism. The main architects of the ethnic federalism were initially Italians when they tried to conquer Ethiopia for their ambition of colonialism during the Second World War. Ethiopia remained one of the few independent countries in the world. However, Ethiopia's ambition to grow and its proud history is challenged indirectly by its own people who are willing to sell their marvelous country and their sovereignty. Ethiopia's social fabric is very intricate in that there is inter-ethnic and religious marriage being carried out day to day as common practice. Among the ethnic linguistic groups who stand out as the pillar of what we call being Ethiopian are the Amharas. These people were the first target by the then fascist Italians and the victims of the ethnic federalism and the constitution from which it is driven. The current Ethiopian constitution preamble declares its aim is to rectify historically distorted relationships. Here is the main thing to focus on. What sort of relationship people had? Who oppressed who? Who is economically developed? Do one people oppress the other historically? How old is Ethiopia? Who are the original people and who are the newcomers? Etc. Even if the preamble does not put it in black and white, who is the oppressor and who is the oppressed, the implementation of it and the subsequent formation of ethnic-based states mainly targeted ethnic Amharas. The Tigray People Liberation Front, which dominated ethnic, political, and economic lives for nearly 3 decades, had written boldly its abhorrence towards Amhara in its manifesto in 1975 following its formation. Hence, the present constitution is the extension of TPLF's manifesto, the result of nearly 30 years of rule of Ethiopian People Revolutionary Democratic Front, in which TPLF was a dominant force, left Amharas and those who call themselves Ethiopian citizens merely stateless. Amharas had a large territory in the form of provinces prior to 1991 in which they lived peacefully with fellow Ethiopians at different levels. TPLF purposely incorporated parts of Gondar and Wollo, predominantly Amhara regions, into Tigray. In the name of rectifying the past, parts of Gojam were cut to form a brand new region, namely Benishangul Gumuz. Parts of Shoa also went to Oromia. The sad part of the story is ethnic Amharas neither have political right nor basic human right after the formation of these ethnic-based states, while still being born and raised there. They pay taxes, but they are devoid of any form of right whatsoever. Their mere existence is by the mercy of those who rule the respective states. The Amhara massacre and internal displacement is a day-to-day news in Ethiopia under the EPRDF rule. The Arba Gugu and the Badeno massacres of Amharas in what is called Oromia region are prime examples. The whole world hardly said a word about it. Now, after Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed took the administration in 2018, following the years of struggle against the EPRDF rule, the mass killings targeting Amharas became more of a norm like before. Amharas were ethnically cleansed in Oromia regions such as Shashamane, Wallagga, Burayu, Arsi, Bale, and others. In the Matakel of Benishangul Gumuz, it's becoming more frequent to kill Amhara simply for who they are. In Wolkait and Raya of the previous Amhara provinces, TPLF special forces have done war crimes on civilians for decades. The recent genocide on mostly Amharas, about 1,100 of them by Tigray special forces in Maikarda, in present-day southwest of Tigray, is a manifestation of how much Amharas are suffering in Ethiopia. In July alone, after the assassination of Hachalu Hundessa, more than 3,000 innocent civilians, Amharas, were massacred for who they are. In October 2019, at least 100 Amharas were brutally killed by the Cairo mob after Jawar Mohammed wrote a Facebook post about his security details. The international media, especially Al Jazeera, BBC, France 24, and CNN, failed to mention what did really happen on the ground in Ethiopia. It looks agendas that promote Ethiopian demise are put on the table. The news agenda begins by framing what happens in Ethiopia as ethnic conflict. There was no ethnic conflict in Oromia, Benishangul Gumuz, and the Tigray regions. It was ethnic cleansing made by militant groups who are loyal to a certain political party, who call themselves as representing an ethnic group. In Ethiopian context, Tigray People Liberation Front and Oromo Liberation Front are working together to bring more havoc and disrupt the social fibers that existed for eons in the country. What marvels most people who are concerned about Ethiopia is why the Western media fail to coin what is unfolding in Ethiopia by its authentic name. If they do not have the actual evidence, why would they not remain silent?